Load up the trains, we're headed to Locomotion weekend. Well, here we are setting up for the Locomotion weekend train display at the Kamin Science Center in Pittsburgh. They have a number of educational displays related to railroading, railroad history, railroad safety. The big movie theater there is playing a couple different movies. The one I watched was the building of the Canadian Pacific Railroad, which was quite well done. And they also invite a number of clubs to come and display their layouts. So there's everything from O scale, S scale, HO, our big N scale layout that we do. There was even a guy there with a Z scale layout, so that was pretty cool to see. Last year I came down to the Locomotion weekend when it was still Carnegie Science Center. And at the time, I had just joined the Iron City group on Facebook and hadn't really participated in any of the shows or done any events with them yet. So I had come down to the show at Carnegie to see their layout and also meet some of the guys. And so it's kind of cool to see that a year later, you know, I'm down here, I brought 3 of my own T-Track modules, and I feel like, you know, part of the crew, running trains half the weekend and, you know, hanging out. It was a good time. This river module is one of my modules. That's the second T-Track module that I built. As you know from my channel, I've been getting back into the hobby over the past several years and, you know, building things, working on models, you know, using the 3D printer to make buildings and rolling stock and, you know, doing some of that stuff. But you know, getting involved in this club has really helped push me to start building the T-Track modules, which gives me an opportunity to, you know, work on the scenery and kind of put a whole project from start to finish in a short amount of time, because you're just working on, you know, maybe a 1 or 2 foot wide section at a time rather than focusing on a large layout in the basement. When I first learned about T-Track, I wasn't too keen on the idea, but I really see the pros to, you know, working on, you know, this size of module, because they're so portable. It's so easy, such a low level of entry to just get a kit, put it together, build something, practice your scenery, and, you know, you start improving your skills, and it's not as daunting as trying to approach, you know, building some huge scene. But it was a good weekend, and although I took this video in the morning before the crowds arrived, and the room looks pretty empty, it got so crowded. There were thousands of visitors to the Science Center over the weekend, and I don't know how many of them came through and looked at the train displays, but I'll tell you, it was a lot. I mean, that room was packed all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and seeing the kids getting so excited, looking at the trains and looking at the detailed scenes, and it's not just the kids. I mean, there were families, there were adults, you know, people that are into modeling, people that, you know, have an interest in railroads. I mean, it's just so many people, and it was great to see such a great turnout, and a lot of interest in the hobby. And this coaling tower module over here is the first module I actually built and brought to the Altoona show. So that was my entry into T-Track modeling. And here we are down on the south side of Pittsburgh. There's the Iron City beer clock, which I have changed to Iron City N scale clock in the south side, right behind Vellum Fermentation. I took a few liberties with the neighborhood, but I hope I captured the... I think this is the third show that I've participated with the Iron City N scale group. I brought a module and hung out with them at the Altoona show last year, and then in December we had the Buell Club train show in Sharon, PA, and getting together here. So it's good to see everybody again. Getting to know people better. Seeing some of the friends that I've met at other shows, and hang out for the weekend. It was good to see my friend DJ from DJ's Trains on YouTube stop down to see us for a bit, and always good to chat with him. I also saw a friend of mine with whom I serve on the board for a Rails to Trails in the area. He stopped by. I know he's a collector. I believe he collects O scale. Another friend of mine that we're in the same unicycle club. He stopped by with his kids, so it was kind of a surprise to see him. I hadn't seen him for a bit. And several people from my church stopped by. There was also the RV show was going on the same weekend in Pittsburgh, and so some of the folks that I go camping with, they were in town, and I'm like, hey, I'm over here at the Science Center at this train show. Why don't you stop by? So, they come by, they look at our work, and it was kind of fun. Just a good weekend to hang out. And it wasn't just about seeing all the friends, but also, all the folks that were coming to see the display, and you're running trains, and they're asking questions, and you're helping them out. We had one loop where the kids could run the trains themselves, and we had a little scavenger hunt where everybody's looking for stuff. So it was just a very interactive weekend, which was good to see, for our hobby. Now I've wandered away from our N-scale layout and start wandering around the rest of the show. Started with the beautiful O-scale Shea locomotive, and you'll see some HO layouts and the Lego table as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed a quick glimpse at all the railroad action at Locomotion Weekend at the Kamin Science Center. It happens every year in January, so I hope to see you next year. And there are a number of other shows that we do throughout the year. So perhaps I'll see you at some point. Catch you later.